Hey everybody, welcome. Welcome. So today I'm going to be going over just Joe Biden's tax plan, just kind of going over and seeing what really is going on with all that. If I don't get very many people coming over, I might go live on Instagram as well, but we'll see. With that being said, I went to the Tax Foundation. I really sat down and looked through Joe Biden's tax plan. With that being said, here's just kind of the brief summary of what they gave for the tax plan. The tax plan really doesn't really go into a whole lot of detail, which I don't like, but it's very debunkable, very easy to just like push through. One of those things is is Joe Biden. Sorry, my girlfriend's just crawling over here. Yeah, there's people watching these. It's okay. But yeah, with that being said, I sat down and looked through Joe Biden's tax plan, and basically he didn't give a whole lot of explanation of what was going on. He just basically said that they're going to tax people with income over $400,000, which is really any decent-sized small business. He said he wants to raise individual income, capital gains, payroll taxes, which I mean that affects everybody. I mean, you pay payroll taxes, I pay payroll taxes. It's not fun, but yeah. With Joe Biden's tax plan, I really don't like the way he's kind of approached it, in the sense of like, he's just not approached it the best way possible. Let's see here. Ooh. Sorry, I'm just kind of going through right now. How's everybody's day going so far? Oh, looks like comments are disabled on my live stream. Let me get to that. Let me see if I can figure that out 1 second. Sorry about that. Let's see here. Should be good to go at least. That's weird. Yeah, sorry if the live stream is not working. If you have any comments for me, feel free to go comment on my Instagram video I posted. I'll try and figure that out for next live stream. Or that just that video I posted on Instagram. But I'll be checking that post. So if you have any questions or comments or anything like that. We're kind of going back to what I was talking about with Joe Biden's tax plan. I feel like he lacks just a simple understanding of economics. I mean, I feel like anybody can almost understand what's going on when it comes to tax season. I mean, I work in an accounting firm, so I understand a little more about taxes. But in my mind, the way it works is there's ups and downs with the economy. And what the Republicans want to do is we want to create high peaks and then try and really decrease the fall. So because the harder the fall, realistically, the more people that can gain. And so with that being said, Republicans want this big volatility because it creates more millionaires, more billionaires, and it creates better jobs for people. Whereas the Democrats want to lengthen those curves. They want smaller, less volatile curves, which isn't good for the economy. It's not good. Whereas you see Republicans, we're constantly growing. We want the economy to continue growing on an upward curve. The Democrats, the way it works with them is it's just kind of like the stagnant curve where it's just like constantly up and down, but never going up. And see, that's realistically what Republicans want, is we want to see increase in economic growth. That being said, we need to increase benefits and grants and tax breaks for people who are starting their own business. Normally, I mean, realistically, I feel like we should have a grant for people that aren't allowing. Thanks, Adam. I'll check that out. Let's see here. Sorry, just kind of. Let's see here. I should be good to go now, Adam. I hope it works now. Let's see here. Is that working now? Let's see here. Yeah, thanks, Adam. Let's see here. Is that all fixed now? Someone let me know. Let's see here. Yep, great. Perfect. Let's see here. Yeah, is there any, I know I'm talking about tax planning and stuff like that. Is there any questions you guys have just about the tax plan? I know it can be somewhat confusing for some people, but I mean, I work at an accounting firm, so I know a thing or two. Well, realistically, if I were to run my own economy, I always think of yeah, no, I'm technically Gen Z, but I don't know. I don't really identify with Gen Z. I'm more of like a in-between area. I feel like anybody born between like 1999 and 2003-ish weren't a part of Gen Z at all. I feel like everybody after that is really part of Gen Z. I feel like we're more of a weird hybrid between millennials and Gen Z because I grew up without a cell phone, but yeah, I know how to do technology, like know how to use technology and stuff like that. So I had kind of both experiences. But yeah, no, yeah, I'm 18, so I get it, but more than anything else, I really just want to help people understand what we really believe as conservatives. I feel like people have some really bad misunderstandings about what we believe. Taxes being one of those. I feel like a lot of people think that we are like, I don't even know, business mongers and really just want to have no taxes and all this different stuff. And we don't want any kind of government regulation, which isn't true. I mean, government regulation is bad. Like, it depends on the extent of it, but for the majority of it, it's pretty bad. But as for other things, I feel like government regulation isn't the worst thing. Like, if you looked back at the, yeah, no, I'm a salesman for an accounting firm. So I talk about taxes all day. I try and bring on new clients, which is, I really enjoy doing that. This is just kind of my side hustle. I have a couple side hustles I do actually. But yeah, along those lines, I think when it comes to tax season and taxes in general, I think people honestly who own their own businesses, they get taxed way too highly. $400,000 is not that much income. Like, let's be really honest here. Yes, everybody says $100,000 a year is good income if you're working a job. But if you have employees to pay, if you have rent to pay, if you have a lease to pay, if you have to buy products, sell products, pay for marketing, like you're drying yourself out already, which is purely expenses of what you have to deal with, let alone trying to constantly have to try and grow your business, spend time on your own, not paying yourself. The average business doesn't take a paycheck for 2 years. No, you're all good. Don't worry about it. I like having conversations. As for me being conservative, growing up, I had a lot of mixed feelings. My dad is an economic conservative. He really believes in the economy and low taxes and stuff along those lines. He's more of your like Reagan conservative, whereas my mom, she was more of a I don't know how to put this. She was an economic conservative in a sense, but she mostly believed in like anti-gun and stuff along those lines. And so I really had to put myself in a position where I had to learn, like, what do I believe in? Which, of course, me figuring everything out, I became not a hardcore libertarian, but I'm a mix between like a libertarian, a conservative, and a constitutionalist. So when it comes to like my political beliefs, I'm a very low government person, but at the same time, I'm not extreme low government or anything along those lines. But as for everything else, with Joe Biden's tax plan, I think that there's a lot of holes in it. One of those being that $400,000, she wants to raise taxes to about 60% on people who make about $400,000 a year or more. People who make about $400,000 a year or more, they outrageously get taxed. Like, I mean, these people are creating more jobs for our economy. The more money we let them have, the more jobs they're going to create. And so that's the thing I hate, is because there's a cycle in our world. But basically there's a cycle. I like to call it the economic cycle. Like I told you about, there's the waves. Realistically, you earn your paycheck here, you pay off all your debts, you have money to spend, then you have to wait for your next paycheck, you get it, pay off your debts. It's just that same cycle of debt, cash, debt, cash, debt, cash, debt, cash. And I think that people don't value that enough. We need to, like, a consumer-based society is amazing. Like, what we've done for ourselves is absolutely amazing. But we need to drive that a little more. Decrease taxes, not increase them in any single way. I feel like people make $400,000 a year. They're either huge consumers, they either are putting a lot back into the economy when it comes to businesses, they're helping other businesses grow, or they are hiring employees, bringing on more people to help grow the economy more on that side of things. Either way, you're growing the economy. What liberals are wanting to do is they're wanting to eliminate this side of the scale, because I like to think of it kind of as two spheres working together, both in motion at the same time, constantly growing the economy. The Democrats want to eliminate this side of it. They only want the consumer side of things and don't want the business side of things. So I think if they can limit the business side of things here, they can also limit the consumer side of things here. For me, in a true based society, I feel like in a truly good and free society, I feel like there should be a good couple of huge tax breaks for people to start businesses. But 1 second, what was that, Adam? I actually voted for Biden, but I regret it given his gun policies and desire to raise the minimum wage. I'm not even familiar with this tax plan, though looking forward to learning more about it here. Yeah. I'll give you guys kind of a brief overview of what it is. He wants to raise taxes to about 60%. People make $400,000 a year, as well as he wants to increase. He wants to raise taxes on corporations. He wants to raise taxes on individual income, so you're probably going to pay more. He wants to raise capital gains taxes, so that's stock market, that's selling homes, selling businesses, and payroll taxes as well, which is payroll taxes in your average every day-to-day tax credit. So like when you get your paycheck and they take out all that income, payroll tax is one of the things that are taken out. So he wants to increase that. That being said, like, yes, it would increase revenue for the government, but honestly, the government shouldn't have to raise money off what we have. They should have to budget what we've given them. I mean, realistically, what we spend shouldn't just be taken for granted. They shouldn't have control over that, in my opinion. But yeah, it's very controversial in my opinion. He doesn't really go into details of how he would do it or why he would do it. Doesn't really give us any detail of why he would increase taxes. He talks about raising the minimum wage to $15 an hour, which, I mean, on a perfect society would be amazing. That'd be a great thing. But we live in a terrible society. Income does not always read that. Firewalker said that would raise taxes for me. I thought it would. I thought it was all about raising taxes on middle class. Well, then. Oh my gosh, that's what they claimed. Not really surprised. It's just the case. Just unfortunate. Yeah, I completely agree. Sad thing is, sorry. Sad thing is, if we raise the minimum wage to $15 an hour, it's not gonna be good for anybody. People who are like food workers, stuff like that, will lose their jobs because right now, basically, say your income's $400,000 a year, $200,000 of that is all like expenses, patties, stuff like that. Then you have $50,000 in wages. Say that then increases to $150,000. This is basically double the minimum wage in certain states. Say that doubles. You have to pay $100,000, $150,000. Then that puts pressure on the business owner saying, okay, can I take a loss first year? Do I need to increase prices, increase things like that, and let go of some of my employees? And so I know a couple of friends of mine who are business owners. If they increase minimum wage to $15 an hour, they're gonna have to cut some employees. Prices will have to be raised. Expenses will have to be cut. And so like food service workers would have to be cut. There'd be a lot of food service workers out of business. There'd be a lot of technology being implemented into businesses to try and cut costs. And so with that being said, $15 minimum wage is not a good thing for anybody. Yes, so it would cause probably you to get fired, Adam. Yeah. Yes, prices of items would be raised. It wouldn't be good at all. No, raising taxes is never a good thing. It raises price, raises rent. My rent here would probably increase. It just wouldn't be good on anybody, to be completely honest. It's supposed to reduce the GDP, the gross domestic products in the country, by 1.62% over the long term, which is a huge drop. Because basically, with businesses not being able to afford $15 an hour and afford the taxes they'll be taking out, basically you're going to see a giant downfall of the small businessman. Now, they say the Republicans are for corporations. We're the ones who want to support corporations. That's wrong. We want small businesses. Small businesses that grow are better for the economy than a large corporation that's bloated, who hires and fires willy-nilly, right? And so what they're kind of doing is they're kind of killing the small business. If the small business no longer exists, there's not going to be any innovation in the country. There's not going to be any competition, anything along those lines that would ever help grow the economy. So like, for example, McDonald's, Wendy's, Arby's, what stops them from just working between those three companies or whatever that way, whatever stops Amazon and Facebook from just like combining forces to like own the world is just simply put because there's smaller businesses that'll take their place if they show that kind of stuff. But if small businesses can't afford to get started, then there's not going to be any competition for those. But, Firewalker says, personally, I think some Republicans are for corporations, though the Democrats are largely killing the small businesses right now. Yes, that's completely right. I do feel like there are big corporation Republicans. I mean, periodically, Republicans have been not necessarily for big corporations. We allow big corporations because if big corporations are done right, they help the economy. But the majority of big corporations do not. They really do not help the economy. I mean, Amazon's a huge exception. They do amazing. Right now, they're paying their employees $15 an hour as is. Another good example would be Tesla pays their employees really well. They treat their society very well. Their business model is very strong with the economy and stuff along those lines. It's really good to have a couple of good corporations in there. But if we're talking about what's best for the economy. It's thousands of small businesses constantly competing, constantly trying to gain customers and stuff along those lines. Yeah. Firewalker says, imagine working your whole life in your own personal business, then having it shut down and then going bankrupt and losing your livelihood, possibly your dream, all in a year because of government. Yep, that is exactly what happens. If there's taxes increased, I remember when the first tax increase happened during Obama administration, where they raised the minimum wage to $7.75 in Utah, where I'm located at, there was businesses going out of business all over the place. There was out of business sales. They were just trying to do anything they could to try and raise money to help out businesses. But with that being said, it's just realistically, it's a terrible thing for society if there was a business failure, because smaller businesses realistically are the economy. Small businesses make up about 40% of all transactions. I mean, that's not the majority, but those 40% of 40% of all transactions is what drives the economy. If we lose that 40% of all transactions, it's left this big bloated 60% that just owns the world. I mean, you talk about corporations owning the world. Pepsi legitimately had a navy at one point. Like, ugh. Firewalker said, this year kind of made me more right-wing economically. Sure, that happened to a lot of people. Yeah, no. One of my good friends I was talking to the other day, he's actually been a Democrat his entire life. Believe what you want to believe. I don't care that way. But the economy is what really switched him over to being a Republican. Before everything with the election and stuff like that, I mean, he's a hardcore Republican now. But before the election, he really started looking at the economy. He's like, okay, is them taking my money the best thing for us? Like an organization, the government, which is really just an organization that just takes money from us. Is that organization really doing the right thing by, are they doing the right thing by constantly being so bloated? Like, think about all the just gross misspending the government has, you know? Like, the government spends way too much money for what it's actually worth. They're, like, realistically, I like how Utah sets up its budget. Like, Utah's budget, when it comes down to it, their Senate, their legislator cannot leave the building until their budget is set for the year. And so I think that's really good. Firewalker said, I would be a Republican, but I don't think some aspects of the party, or you don't like some of the aspects of the party. Just not a fan either party trying to police what people do in their personal lives. Be a libertarian then. That's mostly what I am. I voted for Donald Trump because I feel like he gave the most personal freedoms. He did give away some personal freedoms, but in my opinion, I'm a libertarian. I believe that governments and everything should be so limited that they can't interfere with our personal lives. I think the government should have no choice in abortion. I think abortion, if that's going to be legal, I think it should be handled by separate corporations. I think companies should handle it. Create innovation, create that stuff. If people want abortions, don't make it be on my dollar. If the government wants to have a military, have it be 5% of my income, 5% of everybody's income. I actually know a lot of younger conservatives are libertarian. There's a lot of young conservatives that switched over to being libertarian. However, I read a study back a couple of years ago that was saying that I think about 25% more kids that were 15 to 19 are conservative than in past generations. They're saying that with the age of technology and where the Republicans have started stepping up our use of technology, it's really helped our voices get heard. I know that Louder Crowder, when he did his Change My Mind, actually kind of opened my eyes to that, because they kind of talked about that in one of his Change My Minds, and they basically said that, like, because of certain things that have happened, there's a lot of younger conservatives that are conservative. A lot of younger people that are conservative. Sorry. Yeah. I actually have this really cool book. It's really just U.S. Constitution, all of its writings. It's amazing. It literally just has every single document written about the U.S. since like the very beginning. So I think it's very useful. But where did I have marked? I had the income tax law marked. I'm sorry, what was that, Firewalker? Okay. Firewalker said, I don't really agree with the government funding abortions. I think that abortion is kind of disgusting, though I think it should be allowed, but it should be paid for by the people who want to get it, not everyone's tax dollars. Agreed. That is 100% my thought process. Because when I think about things that way, I think of, okay, if it was me, would I pay for somebody else's abortion? No. Like if somebody just came up to me and said, hey, will you pay for my abortion? I would not pay for their abortion at all. And so I don't get the idea that my tax dollars should go to that. And there's a lot of arguments there. I know like private schools, like people who go to private school still have to pay through taxes for people's high school and like high school and preschool and elementary school and junior high school. Like they have to pay for that through their taxes. And so I've heard a lot of arguments of people being like, well, realistically, I'm going to turn this light on, but people have been like, realistically, why do I have to pay for all that? Like, I'm already paying for all this stuff, or make private school free, like have it be government funded. But yeah, I think there's a lot of things that need to be fixed when it comes to that. Yeah. Do you guys have any personal questions for me? Anybody want to ask me any personal questions? I'll leave it to you guys openly if you guys want to ask me questions about my beliefs or what that way. Firewalker said, I mean, there's all these rich feminists who advocate for abortion. Why can't they donate some money to fund abortion opposed to it coming from taxpayers who don't agree with it? I agree. I mean, yeah. If it's so important, put your money where your mouth is, right? Sorry. I think that it would not help anybody to keep it that way. So my opinion on the LGBT community, because Firewalker just asked me that. I actually have a homosexual roommate. I actually don't care at all. Believe how you want to believe. Live your life how you want to live. It's not anybody's right to step in and say. It's not anybody's right to step in and say that it's okay, not okay to do anything that way. I think that I'm not necessarily saying that they deserve more rights than us or they deserve less rights than us. I'm just saying that treat everybody equally. That's how it should be. I feel like there's a lot of misconduct that way when it comes to things. I think there's a lot of misproportionate like bad tension between men and women. I think men lose the majority of custody cases. Men are more likely to die at work. Men are more likely to commit suicide. I mean, men are 5 times more likely to commit suicide. And I feel like if everybody just treated each other equally, I feel like we'd actually be able to do something good with our society. Firewalker said, I'm not a fan of some of the more promiscuous aspects of the community, but I think it's okay to be gay or trans or whatever, but don't police people's speech or force them to use pronouns or whatever. Exactly. And see, I actually have a transgender cousin, and it's been really hard. I've had to learn that, like, she tries to get me to use she tries to get me to use her pronouns. But even to this day, I refuse because, honestly, biologically, she is still a she. That's why I still say she, because I've known her since I was little, and so, yeah. And so, in my opinion, I just feel like we just need to treat each other all better, because the better we treat each other, the better that things will be. the thing that I loved about American history, the reason I love American history so much, is because I like to see when Americans come together. 9/11, World War I, World War II, Korea. I mean, I like to see that. Yeah, I completely agree with that. But with that being said, I just personally, when it comes to everything, I really just want America to be united again, but not in this like communistic fashion that they want us to be in. Like, the government's too bloated right now. We need to limit the government. We need somebody that'll go in and just cut all government programs. We need somebody who's like the next president. I really want is just somebody that'll come in and be like, "Hey, shut up, treat each other better." Like, come on, be real with me. We need another Abraham Lincoln. We need a Martin Luther King, even though it wasn't president. I'd like to see a Martin Luther King type president that comes in and is just like focus. Like, we are here as Americans. I think it's not. I don't care what you believe. Honestly, I don't care. I'm not going to attack you for what you believe. Just responding to Firewalker's question. I don't care what you believe that way. Believe what you want. Believe what you want. Say what you want. But at the end of the day, I feel like more than anything else, as long as we treat each other, Americans, the right way, everything will come out good. I mean, right now we're seeing signs of a decline in world power status. I mean, throughout history, you've seen countries just basically collapse at certain points. They say republics and democracies only last about 250 to 300 years. Right now, we're right about that. We're right in that democracy era of like the Greek democracy. The true Greek democracy only lasted about 250 years. The Roman Republic only lasted, the true republic of the Roman Republic only lasted about 250 years. Firewalker says, well, yeah, I think the issue isn't always belief, more so how people behave and react. It's one another. If you freak out when, then oh my gosh, I cannot talk. Well, you won't have a productive convo and look triggered. But if you have super radical views but more respectful, you look better. Yeah, I completely agree. And I think I hate when people are saying like, "Oh, there's a civil war coming." Yes, there's tension, but I don't think it's so divided that we're gonna have guns drawn on both sides. I mean, there is a front line already being drawn. I see that. Like, throughout history, we've seen that. It is more like a Cold War. Yeah. It is more like a Cold War, yeah, where realistically, when it comes down to it, I think that there's not going to be a civil war. At the end of the day, one side, if there was a civil war, one side has 70 trillion rounds of ammunition, as well as 80% of the military, as well as, I mean, the Senate, as well as all of the land in America. And the other side is big cities around the world, and it's big cities around the world, and they don't have any ammo. Like, I mean, I know I posted a funny video a couple weeks ago, but I just think that if there was a civil war, realistically, it wouldn't last very long. It wouldn't be that long of a civil war, but sorry, my eyes are burning right now for some reason. Ooh, that's a good question. So Firewalker asks, I work tomorrow, so that's fun. But like, honestly, I like working, which brings me to my next question. Why do you think a lot of people lack work ethic? I think that a lot of people lack work ethic purely because I think we have this society where a lot of people are out there not working, relaxing, posting on Instagram, all these videos of them having fun, doing crazy things. And they don't see all the hard work behind that person. They just want to be them. Like realistically, they see this person who's made it. They've making millions. Elon Musk is a great example. He's made millions, but they see him and they say, I want to be him. Where I come in and my thought process is, I want to say, how do I be like him? How do I be like Elon Musk? How do I be like Bill Gates? How does that happen? And then you work for it. And so when it comes to work ethic, I think people just need to realize stuff doesn't come easy. Nothing comes easy. Nothing will ever come easy in your life. Whatever you want to do in your life, it'll be hard. It will be hard no matter what it is. And so in my mind, I think, I do stock markets, I day trade, as well as I have my own company. Me and my girlfriend have my own company, as well as I run this account, as well as work full time. And so it's, yeah. What Firewalker said, I'd say usually right-wing people have better work ethic a lot of the time, but not always in the case. Like, it's not really political, but I think certain views kind of promote certain psychologies in people. And when you hear everything is someone else's fault all the time, it might promote laziness. Yeah, I do think Republicans are attacked a lot, saying that it's always our fault. We're always on the bad side of things. But when it comes to it, I don't think Republicans have become more lazy. I think Republicans have honestly kind of driven harder. All of the liberals I know work part-time shifts at Target or something like that, and they don't really work hard, and they just kind of save their money and just live life. Whereas a lot of the Republicans I know are working full-time. A buddy of mine I worked with not too long ago, he worked full-time, as well as he had a part-time job after he worked. He worked about 40 hours and worked another 20, as well as he had a weekend job. So he was probably working about 80 hours a week, as well as investing in the stock market, learning how to do that. He was wanting to start his own company, saving up. He's about to get married. He's buying a house and going to rent out one side of it. And so it's like, in my mind, yeah, like there are some lazy people in the world. And I don't think that's left. I don't think that's right. I think that's just people, depending on their situation, what's happened in their life. But, I think I'm going to be on for like another 8 minutes or so, and then I think we'll be heading off. But, my eyes are on fire. Firewalker just said, I work 4 days a week at B-Dubs, 35 hours, and take 17 credits. I mean, there's people who work a lot more than me, but it's kind of funny to me when people who work less than me and aren't in school start complaining. Yeah, no, I completely agree. For me, I work 40 hours a week, as well as I have Outer Wild, which is just a portable solar company I'm trying to start, trying to innovate, trying to create better ways to make it so you don't have to charge your phone. Just a little plug there. As well as I have Wreckage's account. I want to get it profitable enough to where I can start selling some Republican products, as well as I have my stock market, like I said, my stock market investments, like I said. I actually have a whiteboard up here that just kind of lays out everything I'm trying to do. But yeah, no. Firewalker said, I barely complain unless I'm really stressed, which happens in food service. He also says, and I usually complain and then apologize right away. I mean, food service is a rough job. My girlfriend, she actually works at Subway. She has a really hard job. I really respect how hard she works there and stuff like that, but people who work in food service aren't compensated well enough to really show how hard they're working. Which I mean, it's a minimum wage job. It's entry level. I feel like people should be, I mean, obviously people aren't compensated as well as they need to be, but I feel like they should be. But realistically, when it comes to like personal investments and stuff like that, honestly, learn how to day trade. That's all I'm trying to do right now. I'm learning how to day trade. The sooner you learn how to day trade, the sooner you'll start making money. I'll start putting money away. My goal is I try to at least put away about $200 a month. I mean, yeah. I mean, not all entry level, not all food service jobs are entry level, but that's awesome. I'm huge in the stock market. I have 2 portfolios I mainly do. There's two I mainly do. I do long-term investing, which I find companies that are on the up and up that are supposed to be huge in 5-10 years, invest them, and then wait for them to go. And then I also invest in, I also do short-term investing. Today alone, I made $79.39. I mean, it's not a lot of money, but for me, I'll take it. It's not bad income right there for just learning how to day trade and stuff like that. Yeah. I'm not a huge fan of crypto. I did think it was funny that Elon Musk tweeted out that he was the CEO of Dogecoin, and Dogecoin shot up like, I think it was like 20% or something like that. Yeah, no, for sure. Business is stressful. I'll put it that way. I like the way Elon Musk kind of described it in a podcast. He was saying starting a business is like walking on glass with your eyes covered while dreaming of the future, of not walking on glass. And I think that's really true because Elon Musk, he has kind of a crazy story if you guys don't know. Elon Musk, when he first moved to America, when he first started his first business, PayPal, him and his brother were actually living in their office. They rent out an office. That's all they had. They slept on the couch as well as they went to the YMCA every day to shower. I think that's a true like sign of innovation in America. But yeah. Well, guys, I think that's the end for today. I'll see you guys next Wednesday. Feel free to go check out my YouTube. Feel free to go check out my Instagram account. I post there once or twice a day. So yeah, thank you guys so much for hanging out and talking to me and stuff like that. Have a good one.